everybody. Our daughter's married. Yay!
And all our company is out of the house.
And all the company's gone. Yay!
We have our house back.
Now we've got Christmas coming. Boo!
Oh,
no.
That'll be fun. That's the kids and grandkids. That's different.
This Love's For You says, how does the AA affect the platinum? So on the A locus, there's three possibilities: AT, AY, or A. So she's asking about AA, little a, little a. What changes the results when you add AA to it? And if okay, so an AA makes for a solid coat color. So if you have a dog that is blue and it's AA, it's going to be solid blue. Probably no white on anywhere at all. Very uniform color. They're very pretty. She goes on to say, if it has a merle, it's got nothing to do with merle. So it doesn't matter whether it's a merle or not. It's the same rules. Well, yeah. If you've got a AA merle, it'll look merle. I think. I don't know if I've ever had a AA merle. Have you ever had a AA merle? I'm sure we have.
No, we haven't had a AA
Well, I think
merle.
you know, I don't know the answer to that particular question. I suspect it's just going to look like a regular merle. And if it had a little,
that'd be something for somebody to pitch in and tell
it's just
us.
something, would you be able to tell by having blue eyes? No, eye color is not a good indicator of anything. Even if the coat pattern is covered by EE. Well, if the coat pattern's by EE, then it's a cream and you won't see anything else. So none of this stuff even makes a difference then. So I've probably confused you on that answer. Next one. So let's have a look here. Nikki Washler says, wish I'd seen your video earlier. I think I bred my Australian Shepherd too early. She stopped bleeding around day 7, so we bred her day 8, 9, and 10. Ooh. Then days 11 and 13 she started bleeding again.
Oh, she had split heat.
Yes, well, I can tell you this. First thing is, blood colour by itself is an indicator, but it's certainly not. I just did a video on this, so I'd say look at my last video, because I talked specifically about a situation we're in with Kiki, a dog that we're breeding right now.
Kiki's doing this.
No blood. Day 7.
Hardly, barely, barely. You have to really look to be able to tell.
Yes, if you have not been successful last time, do
Q-tip up in there, and it's like,
do progesterone test to find out what's going on, because without that you're going to make a mistake. The answer to this is, by the way, if you bred on day 7, 8, 9 and 10, you bred 4 times in 4 days, you diluted your dog down, and the time that probably was right to do this was day 10, and by that point the semen count was probably very low. So that's another thing that you don't want to do.
When we had labs, we used to do it 9, 13 and 15.
Yeah, there you go.
Day 9, 13, 15.
X post says, my female French Bulldog is all black. Can she make exotic coat colours? Gotta know what the DNA is. Without DNA, we don't have a clue. Sorry, but no DNA. Got to know the DNA. Normally, black dogs are brindle dogs, and they can still make different colours if they have blues and chocolates and creams present.
And sometimes you can tell by their striping too if they're going to carry more of a fawn or creams.
Jack Epley says, great video, talking about the oxygen concentrator. He says, FYI, in Europe they have transformers that will allow you to use 110-volt US products. So we're talking about using our oxygen concentrator over in Europe. And the answer is you could do this, but you've got to be careful on this, because you have to have a large enough transformer that it doesn't overheat and can deliver the right voltage. But it's not very power hungry. You need something that'll handle 150 watts. So that's going to be, you know, half an amp transformer. So the answer is yes, you certainly could do that. Progesterone levels of breeding. My dog is at a 3. When will she give birth? Well, a progesterone level of 3 is safe to take puppies. So the answer is now.
Oh, and by the way, who we're using for a stud on Kiki is a surprise for right now. We'll leak it out later.
Okay. Jessica Williams, do you think this setup, we're talking about my heated whelping system, will work on English Bulldog, and what size should I buy from you? Well, the answer is it will, I promise you, work on all dogs, small to big, because it's exactly the same thing. It's the same principle. Don't want the dogs to be stepped on, put them in an environment that has a pig rail. In our system, you put the heat on the pig rail, so the puppies spend most of the time on the pig rail, where they won't get stepped on. And our system will work anywhere in the world. We have versions for 240 volt, we have US versions for 110 volts. We can build any size you can come up with. But for an English Bulldog, I would buy a 48 by 30 wire crate. That will work very well. Becca Tharp says, do you have a video on champagnes? Just can't find it. I love a video on different cream shades. Well, I think I've got one in there. I've got like a 12-part series on this. But the answer is, a champagne is, what's a champagne, Tammy?
Well, it's a creamy colored dog, champagne.
What's the base color?
You got me.
It's a chocolate covered in cream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. A blue covered in cream, you'd call that blue covered in cream. A chocolate covered in cream tends to have a slightly more creamy kind of a coat, doesn't it? Yep. So that's what it is.
So a champagne is a chocolate covered in cream.
Yep.
Okay. How'd you find that out?
Known it for 10 years.
Okay.
Oh, please, Lita. Okay. Januka Pereira says, my dog, watch my blah, blah, blah. My American bully female developed eclampsia after 2 months from her previous first delivery. That's late. She is again pregnant now after 2 years from her last whelp. Can you kindly advise me the right method and time to administer this calcium supplement? She's 27 days pregnant now, but I didn't give her calcium. I didn't give her calcium from day 7. We don't want to. So this is the funny thing about eclampsia. Eclampsia is a deficiency in calcium. So what happens is the mother then starts to take calcium away from her blood supply and also from her bones. And calcium from a blood supply can cause all kinds of problems like heart arrhythmias, which can lead to a heart attack, seizures. You know, so one of the signs of eclampsia, the first signs of eclampsia, is a dog that's wobbly gait, maybe starting to get stiff-legged, or maybe going to seizures. You don't give. You'd think you'd give calcium beforehand, but that apparently can actually lead to eclampsia because it kind of fools our endocrine system into not quite knowing how much calcium to produce. So the answer is you want to start giving what I would do is this. Since I had a history of eclampsia, I would do a blood test probably the 2 days after she's had puppies and just see what her calcium levels are. And if they're not high enough, then there are things that you can give orally, and there are absolutely IVs that you can give to bring her calcium level up. But you do that very slowly, and if you're going to go that route, you'll have to enlist a vet to get it done. Luke T. Johnson's asking about time to do a C-section. And he's talking about 65 days after AI and...
Where are we going?
We're going to go to Walgreens.
Okay.
Well, I've got a video on this. And so I'm not going to go through all this right here because there's a lot of it here. But the answer, the video is there's a video I've got there, How Not to Lose Puppies. If you put the word lose on my link, you will find a video that talks all about this, and I'm going to refer you to that. But just the short answer is this: if you're unclear when the right time to take puppies, go get a reverse progesterone done, and if the level's less than 3, you're safe. Otherwise, you are stepping on.
You can do a veg check too to see if they're open. Yes.
So the things that let you believe that you're in the right place is it's 61 days or more after AI. The dog's temperature has dropped below 99. She's not eating food. She's nesting and panting. Maybe she's got milk, and maybe you're doing a vag check like Tammy's talking about to see if she's dilated. All of those things, if they're all lined up, or the majority of them, you're safe to take puppies without a progesterone test.
Don't let a vet talk you into taking them earlier because they're going to be on vacation, or they're not going to do emergency calls. You've got to go search and find the correct vet that'll come in emergency calls.
There's a 2-day window to take puppies. And that 2-day window has got nothing to do with when the vet's available.
How many phone calls in the last month have we had people took puppies too early because their vet was going to be out of town?
I got one today where they're going to need to have...
not going to make emergency call.
The right date to have the C-section is on January the 5th, and the comment was, well, he won't be around till the 7th. What are you going to do, stick a cork up the top rear end till then?
Well, the other thing is look for a good old country vet that's done C-sections. Do your homework on your vets. Also,
they tend to be more available, don't they?
Yeah, and make sure you have at least 3 different vets, so you can have plan A, plan B,
How many
plan
vets
C.
do we have?
Oh gosh,
I'm gonna count them off.
We got 5.
We've got Texas.
Yeah.
We've got Elk City. We've got Waccamaw and Weatherford.
Texas, yeah.
We've got 2 in Texas. We've got
about 4 in Oklahoma. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
then we've got 6. Arapahoe.
Yeah.
So we've got 6 vets that we can call up. Why do we have 6 vets? Not because they're kicking us out because we're.
But if you have to travel an hour, 2 hours, go get a motel room and stay the night, because you know how close she is, and it's worth every penny. You know, having all these babies alive. We've had just so many calls from people this past month about their babies were taken too early, you know, and the other phone call is freaking parvo, and people going, I don't know why, because they didn't take their dogs to be vaccinated in the beginning. Their adult dogs are not vaccinated. People, get your dogs vaccinated.
Well, especially get your puppies vaccinated.
Puppies, you know.
Start at 6 weeks, 6, 9, 12 weeks.
It's a horrifying death. It's not a fair death that could be well prevented.
Yep. So Tammy's getting on a high horse here. So
I am.
We're going to tone you down a little bit, so she's going to get mad and start smacking the screen.
Well,
but she's right. She's right, folks.
Yeah.
It's $7 for a vaccine. It's just not expensive, and it's one of those things. I can procrastinate and put things off that I don't have to do today till tomorrow. But the problem with it is,
do not procrastinate about getting your dogs their vaccination.
And if you get
just like your children,
if you get off by a week on when you should give a vaccination, you've already started. You've got to start the whole thing again. So get your vaccinations done right. But back to this, the question on this is, if your progesterone level is less than 3, you can take puppies. Otherwise, you've got to get all the right signs. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody. Watching the video. I really appreciate people who subscribe to me. It helps me, encourage me to do more of these videos. But do remember, disclaimer here, I am not a vet. I'm not a licensed medical professional. I'm purely a person who's been breeding dogs for the last couple of decades. Any information that you got from this video, use at your own risk. There's nothing implied here, and certainly this should not be used as a substitute for advice from your veterinarian or your medical professional. I hope you enjoyed the video. Come back for more of them. Bye.